All right, what is up guys? Charles here. I am back again after a crazy stretch of travel. I was just in Austin, then Portland, now back in Eugene. I was gonna go back and start the recapping my entire running career series and doing my freshman year as the first part of that. But instead I realized I just raced in Austin and I wanted to share that with you guys, do a race breakdown video, and then next week's video will be the start of that series again. The race was absolutely crazy. It was so fast. It was on this super unique, kind of weird course that had all these weird things about it. It was on a military base, so you needed official ID to get in. There were all these attack helicopters, fighter jets and stuff on the outside of it. There was a mile-long track that wiggled around the outside of the course, and the course was set inside of that with a longer straightaway to account for the difference for being slightly shorter. There are hay bales and divots, lumps everywhere, overall pretty flat, made for an extremely fun event and a great way to run some professional cross country. I was racing against a lot of the guys that were absolutely incredible all through my NCAA career, so it was really fun to get an opportunity to race those guys in cross country again. I also think I got a ton of great experience racing hard, racing in a kind of on and off tempo that gets me used to, racing with the adults now. And all in all, great cross-country debut. Probably my first race with a significant amount of training in this new situation in my legs. Without further ado, let's just talk about how it unfolded. So the day before the race, I showed up there with my assistant coach, Chris Zielinski. We were able to jog the course, take mind of where things were, what to look out for. Our goal was to compete as hard as we could and place as highly as we could and just get off to a good start. Honestly, my training has been absolutely incredible out here. Just stringing week to week to week has been so satisfying. It was a little bit weird racing on a Thursday. Usually you're racing like Friday, but mostly like Saturday on a weekend. So right from the very start, gun goes off, we go out super hard. It's a very accelerated pace. And that's very normal for cross country, but usually you settle in a little bit, but we did not settle in much at all. I think, there's a little bit of jostling for who was gonna take the lead. And eventually Kiptu surged to the front and he went out hard and everyone came with him. There were a ton of Hoka guys with me. And then Kurgat, the previous year's winner of the race, was also up there as well. And we were just chugging along. The first lap felt really great. The strength training was holding strong and we were just clicking off laps at that point. The race was 5 laps, by the way, to be exact, roughly a mile per lap, which equates to 8,000 meters. So not your traditional longer 10K cross country race, more like a preseason NCAA 8,000 meter race. I know the first mile was 4:20 something. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but for a 5-mile race, that is pretty fast. So we were going, and then I think going into the second lap, the previous year's leader surged to the front. I'll also be honest, from a preparation perspective, I was expecting this race to be run a lot slower. The previous year was on a different course, which was apparently a little bit more perilous, and it was run at about 23:30 pace. It ended up being won in about 1.5 minutes slower than this year's race was. So a lot of this going out strong, holding on to sort of surging paces, was really great experience for me when it came to thinking on the fly. A lot of times, almost all of your times racing, you have a game plan, but what's really gonna be most important to your prolonged success, to have a consistent career, is how well can you think in the moment, how well can you adapt, and how well can your training prepare you to be able to adapt in these situations. Pretty soon, once I saw Kurgat surge to the front, I knew it wasn't gonna let up. There were too many good guys in this race in incredible fitness that we weren't gonna slow down. They were trading off, they were ready to go, and I was just excited to be a part of it. It was about managing your footing, getting over the hay bales, surging after turns, making sure you weren't slipping because it was a little rainy and windy. I tried to slot in as best as I could and conserve energy, and I still felt really good on the second lap. We go into the third lap, it's about halfway through the race. I'm thinking, we're halfway, feeling good. Then a wild shot surges to the front. We're just building surges on surges, and I think both of the first couple miles were in the 420s. About the middle of the race, around the 3-mile mark, we're getting faster and faster as it goes on, despite starting fast. And that's where it starts to hurt a little bit. Heading into the penultimate lap, so going into mile 4, and my goal was just to hang on and fight as long as I could. Honestly, this was a great style of race for me to test my training on. A real slugging match of just running as hard as we could was absolutely everything I wanted to learn from it, and I didn't want to miss that opportunity. Despite, starting to hurt a little bit around the 3-mile mark, just kept going, staying strong, trying to be competitive and trying to get as much experience from the moment as possible. So we go around, still in the 420s. Right at the start is when you hit the hay bales, holding on. I just covered a move. We get over the hay bales and Adrian puts a really hard surge in right after the hay bales. My legs were feeling pretty lactic. I did my absolute best to respond to it, but a gap did open up and they surged away. I I was trying to reel in as much as I could. One of the best things you can do in cross country is never give up. On a flatter course, you know, it's rare for these moments to happen, but you never know if someone's gonna come back to you, if they've overexerted themselves. If you still have something in the legs, just keep going, and just in your head believe, you know, they might come back. Even if you don't think you can hold with the pace they just put down, they might come back to you. It doesn't really matter what it is. Just know you're always still in the fight, and there's never a reason to stop going hard. I keep running. Eventually Kiptoo gets on my shoulder. He passes me. I try to hold on to him. I stay really close. So I'm in 4th position, fighting as hard as I can. And I keep fighting. Eventually I hang on. I don't pass anybody, but I do finish 4th. And I finished in a time of 22:15, which I believe is around 4:28, 4:29 pace for 5 miles. I know cross country isn't run a lot for time, but given the course and the conditions, and the speed that we were hitting every split with, I walked away extremely proud of how I raced. I feel like I raced to my fitness, and it was a great way to start competing with pros. While it's great to be confident and it's great to think, you know, you're the best guy in the world and you're gonna beat everybody every single day, the truth is, you're gonna have a ton of days where you lose building up to the days that you win. And especially when you make a jump from a situation. So right now, I'm in transition from college to pro. I'm now in my pro career. I have to be comfortable with the fact that these guys are on another level. I think that staying strong, fighting with them as much as I can, well, fighting to run with them as much as I can, and not worrying so much about what it looks like, how it ends up, just worrying about being competitive is how I'm gonna be able to take that next step comfortably into my professional career. And I just can't wait for my next opportunity to get thrown into the mix. Right now, the focus is on training, repetitive, getting the miles in, getting the workouts in. Whenever I know about my next opportunity to get a good race in, I'll let you guys know, and we can get excited for it. As far as everything goes with me, I just want you guys to know I'm having the absolute best time here. Obviously, whenever we go up to altitude, that's gonna be a super fun opportunity for me to lock in. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed seeing clips from the race, hearing about my experience, and I hope you guys are excited for the continuation of my entire running career series, because I can't wait to talk you guys through all the incredible things that happen in college, get a little bit behind the scenes and show you guys, you know, how I really made it here, because I think that context is super important. So I'll see you guys next time. Until then, take it easy and have a good one, y'all.